Hello everyone! Our lilac bush is blooming and I thought it'd be nice to capture it with a loose and expressive watercolor. So let's head on up to the studio and get started. So I'm grabbing my Princeton snap brush and you can see I have a color palette ready and I'm going to be using these lilacs as my example. And the colors that I chose are like a pinky purple at the top, and then a true purple, and then I have a violet purple, and then my greens. And I've also loosely sketched the picture, so just to give me an idea where to place down the water that you're seeing me do now. Just taking some clean water and dabbing it onto my drawing. And you don't have to have a drawing, I just thought it would be good to start that way. And now we're going to pick up some paint, and I'm just picking up the purple. That's an Imperial purple, and just randomly placing it inside the flower cone. And the lilacs, I have this cone shape, so we're just going to very loosely put it onto the paper. And this is 140 pound 100% cotton paper. I'm also putting some upstrokes just to kind of designate where the flowers are going to be coming up. Just makes it look a little bit more realistic. And then again, I'm going on with the dark violet, and you can see I'm going over to this pinky purple at the top and then the darker colors at the bottom, just to kind of show light, depth, and just a variation. It makes it more interesting as a composition in general. And then I'm just filling in with some shadowing and mid-tones, and so you can see how I'm building up depth and just making it a more interesting composition. You can just kind of play it by ear, fill in your diagram or your picture. The main thing is to add those colors for interest, and I'm adding some pinky purples to the top. Then I decided to fill in the bottom. It just felt like a little empty for me, and I added 2 more lilac clusters. I like that odd number when you add 5. So we're just gonna go ahead and fill that in. And again, keep it very loose, fun. It's meant to be expressive and contemplative even. Add those shadows. Now we're going to go back and go to that green. It's a sap green and a phyllo green. And you can add whatever kind of color green you would like, but I like to start with this color. I'm just making some simple leaf shapes, and you can see the examples in the cluster. And make sure you make some side views of the leaves. Don't just make them all front on views. Just some different perspective. Fill in wherever you see gaps. Make sure you're putting leaves kind of all over the page. That keeps it interesting. This is just kind of a fun, relaxing part, I think, as well. Then I switched to a number 2, Princeton Snap, and I'm going to use that to now make some details with the lilac clusters. I'm adding these little cross shapes of petals, so just 2 on top and 2 across from each other on the side, and just randomly place them on your lilac clusters. We're trying to hint at realism, and it's not so much about drawing every single flower petal, and that's what makes it interesting. So I'm randomly placing them just wherever I feel like. And again, make those petal shapes kind of different. Just randomly place them, and now I'm just adding even just some like squiggle lines. You don't have to show the full 4 petals because you wouldn't see them on a flower. Darker colors on the bottom just to kind of show shadow and light. And I'm defining each of the lilac clusters with a darker color. We're just filling in as we go. And then back to the leaves. Just a simple line down the center and some veining along the sides. You can also add a darker color, make it a little brighter or darker, whatever you like. Again, this is just about having fun, letting go, and just making a very loose rendering of lilacs. Just finishing up with these little details. And then I'm adding these stems up the center of the flower because you'd be able to see them on a lilac cluster. I add a little bit of brown to that as well, so like a burnt umber, whatever's in your palette. It really adds to the whole picture, I think. I also mix the brown with the green that I've already mixed up in my palette, just so it looks a little bit more uniform. Okay, this is the fun part for me. I just take a brush, I think this is a size 8, just something that holds a lot of paint. Cover that up so you don't splatter ourselves, and then hit it with the splatters. Whatever color of those violets and purples you like, or a combination. I love this, and I'm also filling in as much of the composition as possible. That way when the tape comes off, it kind of leaves a bit of a border. This is my favorite part. It's the unveiling. I love the borders, and it's just so interesting, and it makes it really nice and clean. And having those splatters just stop there gives a little bit of a border. And there we go. And there you go. It's all finished. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lilac watercolor floral card, and I also added the word lilac at the bottom left corner. I thought that was kind of fun. Anyway, let me know if you make it, and remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I always appreciate all of those. Remember to join me next week for another project, and remember, you are amazing and creative. See you later. Bye.